Fossils Act that artificial creations, entities, persons, corporations exist. And they are identified, all corporations are identified in all capital letters regardless of font. That is what it states in public policy. So what's happened is you have been tricked into cons to believing that you are this artificial person. But again, that is not you. Your real birth certificate, and I don't know what the name of the corporation is where you live, but here in the States it's known as your real certificate, which is nothing more than a title, just like the title of your car, is stored in the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, or the DTC. And it's nothing more than a title, okay? What's happened is they've taken the real certificate and they put it into the Depository Trust and Clearing. And they've given you a certificate of birth which has nothing to do with your real certificate, and it's issued from the Corporation of Vital Records. Now, the corporation may be known as a different name, but on your certificate it should show might show on there the name that handles all the births and all the records. And what I want you to take away from this is, sometimes I lose my train of thought, is that you'll notice that on your certificate, on your driver's license, on your state ID, on your mail, any kind of mail having to do with business and finance, your name is always in capital letters. From a court summons to the time that you get pulled over by a police officer and he asks license and registration. What is he asking for? Title and registration. Okay? This corporation, this artificial person of yours, this is what the police, the IRS, child services, social services, and just about every other agency out there, this is what they use to gain jurisdiction. Okay? They are using a vessel, the artificial entity, your name all in caps, to get that jurisdiction over you, and they're doing it through joinder. You see, when you went to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, or whatever it's called wherever you live, and you signed your signature on your new ID card, and you took your picture, you were signing to act as the corporation. Now, originally, this corporation was created to keep government tyranny from ever touching any of the people. Think of it like a protection. This is why the artificial creation was originally made. But it's also being used to enslave people. So, as you can guess, evil exists everywhere. But anyway, things can be misused all the time, and yeah, power always leads to corruption. It's just a fact. Just look at history. Power always leads to corruption. Anyway, what I want you to know is there are benefits to having this artificial creation, but there are also negatives. And what I also want you to understand is that you are a living human being. You are not this artificial person. And later on in my videos, I'm going to discuss how this applies to you and how it doesn't. You know, how you can use it and whatever. Again, I'm losing my train of thought here. But just know that for now. And know that there are two laws that I will be discussing, known as common law and statutory law. Statutes, which are legislative, only apply to your legal fiction, to your artificial person, to your corporation. And they do not apply to you. If it's not common law, it's not real law. And in common law, that means you haven't created injury to another party, to another person, or you haven't committed fraud. You haven't created some kind of liability. Okay? If you haven't caused injury or liability or fraud or what have you, then you haven't broken any real law. So that goes to say if you rape somebody, okay, you violated common law. If you steal from somebody, you violated common law. If you give someone a fender bender in their car while you're driving and you create an accident, you create a liability, that's violating common law. So you're going to have to take your punishment and deal with it like a man. Statutory law, things like driving through red lights, not stopping at stop signs, honking your horn too loud, creating too much noise, and after hours, like after 10 o'clock, not walking your dog on the leash in a park, that's statute law. And it only applies to the fiction. So know that. And what you can summarize all this into is commerce. That's what it is. This is all commercial. Most people have no idea what this is. But there are exponential numbers of people, especially in Canada, and actually for that matter, across the world now, beginning to understand this. But I assure you that at least 98 to 99% of people throughout the world have no idea. So, you have a corporation, but you are not a corporation. And there are benefits to this, and there are negatives. There are times where you may want to use it and times when you don't. So, I will also be discussing in the very short future how to deal with courts, jurisdiction of courts, how courts really operate, how to deal with the police, and pretty much I'm going to educate you that you are a free individual. And I'm trying to teach people how this game really works. It's all a Ponzi scheme, just like money, and I will also be going into money. So for now, do your research on this. It's going to shock you. It's going to shock you. It shocked me. I couldn't believe it for a while. But do your own research. Don't take only my word for it. And look this stuff up yourself. Again, I'm going to go over these keywords here that you can look up. Look up common law and statute law. Look up artificial person, legal fiction, and corporation. What else? The Public Vessels Act. Look that up. If you live in the United States, I'm gonna look up the United States Printing Style Manual. I believe it's called. It's been a while since I looked at it. And also, look up the Uniform Commercial Code. Now, that's a whole other subject to discuss, and that takes a while to learn. But this is going to give you some insight on what I'm talking about. And again, I will be going over court procedures, how to stand in court and get cases dismissed. I will go over how to discharge debts, how to discharge traffic tickets, all legally. Let's see what else. How to protect yourself from the police who try and abuse their powers. That's another big one. I've been noticing that there are many police now that try to abuse their powers, and I will show you how to combat that peacefully and how to stand up for your rights. So, stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this audio presentation, and I will be having some more being produced shortly to give you some more insight on this game of commerce. Stay educated. Try not to listen too much to the news, because those are also owned by corporations and it's all fabricated. But again, stay educated, stay part of the conversation, and you will begin to understand more.